As you can see the countdown on the screen, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Lift off.
时间纵4时3度分2幺秒，发动6毫秒。程序转弯。阵地1212跟踪正常。
Personnel on the ground reporting that the remote sensing data indicate that the flight is going smoothly. Why do we need those data?
This is to keep the tracking of the predetermined orbits and the speed and altitude, so to keep track on the normality of this rocket.
And we should also notice that the rocket is not flying straight up; it's going sideways. There's a little turn.
It's called pitch over.
Pitch over.
Yes. So the first critical step will be after the tower is cleared will be the pitch over to the so we call the launch direction. With this direction, we can determine the orbital plane. And from you see, this is a video from the camera mounted on the rocket itself on the core stage. We can see 2 of the 4 boosters. While the 4 boosters provided 90% of the thrust during the liftoff. So on this stage, mainly the thrust is from the 4 boosters. And after pitch over, the next critical step will be the separation of these 4 boosters.
Yes.
Yes. Exactly.
And we keep hearing that the monitoring and command center reporting how the flight is going to continue. They're going to continue to track the flight of this rocket, and then a few minutes into its flight, we'll see the boosters come off the rocket, and you're looking at the pictures being captured by a camera just attached to the body of that rocket, showing, as Professor Yang mentioned, 2 of the boosters there. There are a total of 4 boosters on the body of the rocket. They will all come off later in the flight and allow the separation of the first and second stage rockets.
So each of the booster has 2 engines, so total of 8 engines on the booster, and also engines on the core stage. So the boosters are composed by liquid kerosene, liquid oxygen rocket engine, but the core is cryogenic, which is liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen.
Help us understand the choice of fuel here.
Well, the liquid kerosene, liquid oxygen works very well in the atmosphere, where the liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen works better in outer space, which has better propellant propulsion rates.
Okay, the boosters
and
have
the
been
boosters
separated very
are
properly.
being separated. They come off to, because they burn out the fuel. They have to come up to allow the rocket to continue.
The first stage use, as Mr. Xu mentioned, the cryogenic propulsion system with liquid oxygen as the fuel and the liquid hydrogen as the fuel and liquid oxygen as the oxidizer. It has a very high specific impulse, so this with little consumption of fuels, it can provide much more.
Now the first stage
energy.
and the second stage.
Great.
Rockets are being separated. We're hearing applause from the control and command center. Everything seems to be working just fine.
So the second stage we use the YF-75D rocket engines, which also use the liquid hydrogen and the liquid oxygen as a propellant. The thrust is smaller, but the specific impulse is even higher than the first stage.
And later in the flight, that engine. We're now about 36 minutes into the flight. We understand the spacecraft is already in orbit. We're waiting to hear official announcement about the flight.
Well, you can
from
see
control and command.
from the image, you can see this spacecraft is very stable in relative to the
地
Earth.
面分离。
So now there's a
The
separation.
separation of the spacecraft and the rocket. This is a crucial step in the flight,
Exactly.
indicating now
so
that
the separation is confirmed by the telemetry data, which can be checked and examined from the ground and also from the camera. We can. This is a video from mounted on the end stage of the rocket, and we can see. You can see the thrusters of the orbiter of the Chang'e-5.
So the spacecraft is now on its own,
It's
which
on
is
orbit.
which is what we intend it for.
So
It's now in orbit.
So the next, So the next critical step will be the unfolding of the solar panels of the orbiter. With this step, we will have continuous power supply to the spacecraft.
And we can see